Sigma males are known for their apparently cold and unemotional characters because of their tendency to appear emotionless and cold. Sigma males can appear cold or distant to others because they continuously process information and try to understand all around them generally. This is because they spend a lot of time in their minds. However, this is a symbol of an introvert who has actually learned to weigh their ideas and concepts inwardly before sharing them externally. And this is because they spend so much time evaluating and estimating their next most effective move before implementing any course of action. When trying to understand the behavior of the Sigma male, this can be perplexing for some. With that said, here are the 10 reasons why Sigma men are so cold-hearted. 1. They are very private and enigmatic people. Sigma males are extremely private persons who typically keep their ideas and feelings to themselves. This could make them look cold-hearted and secretive, yet it's only a result of their introverted character. They don't have the need to divulge every detail of their lives to others. Sigmas are highly self-sufficient and independent, which may make them seem mysterious or even elusive. They like to observe and contemplate before sharing their thoughts with the public. Others may find it tricky to get to know them since they typically don't disclose much about themselves. However, this is only their demand for privacy, and women usually find them attractive because of their mysterious nature. They don't care what people think about them and just explore the things that are of the most benefit to themselves. This may appear cold-hearted, but in reality, you really have to develop this type of mindset in order to minimize distractions and become successful. 2. They're slow to trust others and are self-reliant. Sigma males are not in the routine of trusting other people. Even anyone whose trustworthiness is so beyond the conflict that whatever your morals as a friend, they simply cannot trust you to the extent of leaving themselves exposed to betrayal by a cold-hearted person. Only a fool ends up putting their full trust in another person. Sigma males don't like to seek assistance, and they resist the whole concept of interdependence. They value independence and self-sufficiency and consider it one of their basic values. Cold-hearted people do not want to rely on others since they expect to be disappointed or maybe even betrayed. As far as possible, they'll protect their personal interests without depending on others. 3. They like to be in control. Sigma men insist on being the people in control of their own lives, and they'll go to extremes to remove themselves from the control of others, including those who care about them. Because Sigma males have this kind of personality, they'll resist every attempt to direct them in a direction they do not want to go, even if it means making terrible decisions. They will always blame other people for the implications, and this proves that when it comes to controlling, Sigmas are cold-hearted. 4. They find it challenging to sympathize with others. Sigma men are more likely to regard people as oversensitive or to blame them for overreacting. If they notice someone in emotional distress, they're more willing to leave the scene as quickly as they can to prevent what they consider a disgraceful display. The last thing they're likely to do is express empathy for somebody who is suffering because it is their character to never show weaknesses, and they feel other people shouldn't either. 5. They're unmoved by love stories and emotional movies. Sigma males will normally avoid these anyway because they find them nervous or boring, and they prefer not to talk about them as a whole. Since Sigma men are strong and have such bold personalities that if someone tries to persuade them to watch an overly sentimental romance movie with them, they will be just fed up and get bored even if others find it interesting. They could even publicly criticize aspects of the story, causing others to question themselves about why they're so emotionally connected to the story. This is not to suggest that Sigma men are not empathetic. Instead, it's their nature that forbids them to act in a way that shows weakness. 6. They're distant and detached. Sigma males isolate themselves from others not because they dislike people, but because they find it more difficult than most to be agreeable or engaging, and if the coldness is salty, they don't feel much interest in other people to prove to show any. So they isolate themselves to avoid people who may want to get to know them because it is an unnecessary activity for them. 7. Selective when it comes to choosing their social circle. They are extremely picky. Sigma men are selective about who they accept into their social circle. They only socialize with people they find fascinating or worthwhile. This might come off as arrogant or snobbish, but it's just an outcome of their rigorous expectations. They would rather spend time alone than with someone with whom they do not connect. This doesn't imply that they are frigid or unfriendly. They just value quality over quantity in their relationships. Although others misinterpret their arrogance for their selectiveness, if there are two things that a Sigma dislikes, it's boredom and controversy. They avoid it at all costs and will often go out of their way to avoid dull or dramatic individuals that could make them appear aloof or arrogant. But it's a defensive measure, as interacting with these types of people can be difficult for them. Sigma men choose to keep their social circle limited and intimate, since it helps them actually get to know the people in their lives and build strong connections with them. If you find yourself being avoided by a Sigma, don't take it personally, since they are probably just attempting to prevent wasting their time on anyone they feel is boring. They might do this to the extent that it can make them look abrupt, but they just don't see the purpose in beating around the bush, talking about the weather, or other pointless issues. It's a waste of time in their opinion. 8. They require a long time to rise in the world. That is always demanding our attention. Having the time and space to be by oneself may be difficult, but for a Sigma, spending quality time alone helps them to connect with their actual selves, discover their innermost aspirations, and reflect on their experiences in order to progress from them. They are at their most creative and effective when they have some alone time. Clarity and resilience facilitate the men of Sigma in maintaining their mental well-being. Not everyone can spend prolonged amounts of time alone with their emotions, since it can be stressful. However, for a Sigma, this time is essential to ponder on their life and concentrate on whatever they are doing. However, some people might think they are cold-hearted since they don't give them time. Sigmas are such cold-hearted men that in order to succeed and get what they want, they may go to the end and put all their efforts into getting it. 9. They keep people at arm's length and act superior. Sigma males don't like having anyone close enough to get to know them. So keeping people at arm's length is their norm, and they've learned a variety of strategies to accomplish this. They'll divert or change the topic when you ask them about themselves. Sigma men can never settle for mediocrity, and by allowing almost anybody into their personal lives, they believe they will be dragged down to their level. They know they have a unique and valuable attitude and do not want to let others disrupt it. 10. They're often self-centered. Sigma men are their own primary focus, so they may often come across as self-centered or self-absorbed. This is not because they do not care about others, but rather because they like to devote almost the entirety of their energy source towards developing something beneficial for themselves instead of using it for the sake of others. They are open to assisting others, but they would like to channel their effort into getting themselves into a situation where they are able to adequately assist other people rather than delegating their effort throughout the journey. In other words, they would like to be able to provide for themselves before they strive to provide for other people. To sum up, this might also come off as cold-hearted, but it's totally rational in the mind of the Sigma. Well, that is all for the video. If you find it helpful, consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends.